Greetings everyone and welcome to my platypus knitting channel. My name is Bobby Olan. I use she, her pronouns, and this is episode number 42 of Bobolog. Bobolog is my vlog or podcast or whatever you want to call it, where I like to share all of my adventures in mainly knitting, but other fibre crafts and other crafts as well. I am coming to you from Victoria, Australia, and I would first of all like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I live and create, the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people, and I would like to pay my respects to their elders past, present and future. You can also find me on Instagram at Platypus Knitting, and I am also on Ravelry under my own name, Bobby Olan, and all of the links to everything that I mentioned should be in the description down below, but if I miss anything, please let me know and I will amend that for you. Is that all that I have to say? It is getting towards the end of July in 2024, and I have this past weekend was the annual Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show, so I have a lot to share with you about that. But before I dive into that, here is some of what I have been doing since my last episode. Greetings, I am just getting started. Well, not just getting started, I've already cast on, but I am in the beginning stages of working the lower yoke for the Dione sweater and I just thought it would be a good time to check in with you guys about my progress. So I have finished the upper yoke, which I am very, very happy about. I have tried it on and it is fitting pretty well, so that is it there. It's a bit bunched up because I've taken the needles off this interchangeable knitting cord, so yeah, it's a bit scrunched up on there and it is just waiting until I finish a little section and then I'll be connecting it to the body. This jumper it has a upper yoke which is stockinette stitch, and then the rest of the sweater is beautiful cables, which is my favorite kind of knitting. And I did end up re-swatching and I'm really, really happy that I did. So I had gotten gauge in stockinette stitch, but not in cables. I don't know why I'm struggling with words so much today. Anyway, my cable gauge was tighter than what the pattern called for, and as I mentioned in my previous episode, I was just going to go ahead with it and hope for the best, but I did some calculations and it was actually going to make the sweater a bit too snug. It was going to put it on the side of negative ease, and I didn't want that. The pattern didn't call for that, and I didn't want to mess with how that was going to fit on my body. So I did swatch one needle size up, which is the 5mm needle, and I'm really, really happy that I did, not only because I have got gauge now on the cables, but it just feels a lot nicer. Like the fabric is just a bit softer, it's a bit drapier, it's not as stiff as what I was getting when I did the swatch on 4.5mm needles. I did also make this swatch a bit bigger than my previous one, which was really kind of on the narrow side. I could only just measure 10 centimeters across on that one, but this one's a bit wider, so that is good. The only thing now that I wish that I had done is I wish that I had swatched reverse stockinette on the back of this swatch in the round here, because that's actually what the pattern is going to have along the sides of the body. I'm pretty sure it's going to be reverse stockinette stitch, and I'm already not getting gauge on the stockinette portion. It's bigger. I mean, I got gauge on 4.5 millimeter needles, so of course going a needle size up, it is going to be looser. I do like how it feels, but yeah, it just doesn't match. However, I check the stitch counts and I check the calculations, and the stockinette portion being at a looser gauge is going to add only about 2 centimeters to the whole circumference of the sweater. So I think that is such a small amount that it's not going to make a huge difference. And you know, hopefully when I block the finished thing, it will turn out all right in the end. But I don't actually know. I know for most people, like when you purl, your stitches are generally bigger than when you knit. So reverse stockinette is going to be an even bigger gauge than normal stockinette stitch. I don't know if I'm one of those people who has the opposite effect. I'm kind of hoping so, but I doubt I am, where your purl stitches are actually tighter than your stockinette stitches. I'm pretty sure I'm like the majority of people whose purl stitches are looser. We shall see. I'm not going to bother re-swatching that again. I did actually consider turning this into a real mess, and the body is going to be knit in the round, and I could have made it really messy for myself by having 4 different needles going basically. So for the front body, 5 millimeter needles, for one side 4.5 millimeter needles, for the back 5 millimeter, and then for the other side 4.5, which would have been a big old headache, I can imagine. But I was really tempted to do it because that was how I could get gauge all the way around. But I really don't think it's worth it, and I've talked myself out of that madness, and we shall see how we go. So I have cast on, and I have just finished the long tail tubular cast on, and I'm really happy with how that is looking. I have done that on 3.75 millimeter needles, and I am actually, if you've watched me for a while, you may be aware that I generally use Knit Picks 4 square interchangeable needle tips, but I was wondering lately, because they're square, 4 square, they're square needles, I was wondering if for the smaller needle sizes, if like, since they're smaller and so there's less, the flat sides of the square are smaller, I was wondering if that then sort of negates the ergonomic benefit of having a flat pad to hold onto. So I bought a whole bunch of Leica interchangeable needle tips from sizes 4 millimeter down. I got them in this length and in the shorter length as well, and they actually go down, I think, to 3.25 millimeter, which I was really happy about because the Knit Picks ones only go down to 3.5, so it gave me an extra needle size. But I ordered these tips from Tash of Handmade Create, who has gorgeous handwriting, in my opinion. Thank you, Tash. And she she was also selling the Leica cords, which I had never used before, and they do swivel, so I figured buying a whole bunch of needle tips, why not give their cord a try as well and see how I like it. I have four different types of interchangeable cords now. They're the ones that came with the Knit Picks 4 square, which look like this. They're a black plastic one, they don't swivel. I have a couple of cables from Lantern Moon which do swivel, and I have some of the Mindful cable needles which do swivel. I really like those because they're green and I love green, and now I have these Leica ones that swivel. So yeah, I just like trying new things out, and I just wanted to check in and share that with you. How beautifully does this stitch marker from 1121 Windmills match my yarn combination? So pretty, makes me so happy. Last night I finally set up for working this sweater to do in helical knitting. I think I said that very badly. Last night I did the setup round for starting the cables for this sweater, and in doing so I also set it up for helical knitting so that I could alternate balls of yarn, since for this project I am using beautiful hand-dyed Tandy 8-ply yarn. So yeah, I'm just trying to alternate skeins just so that any differences in color aren't as obvious. I am doing 3 balls helically, like I said. I have never done helical knitting before, and while it looks like a pretty simple way of managing stripes or multiple balls of yarn when you're just knitting stockinette, I am going to be doing it for cables, so I am a bit nervous about that. Wish me luck and we will see how I go with it. But because I am working off 3 balls simultaneously, I realized that I am now attached to this corner of my craft room and I can't really bring this project around with me. Well, I could technically, but I don't want to. So I thought I'd show you what that looks like. So I know that most of you are here for knitting, but if you have watched me before, you know that I like to think of myself as a multi-crafty maker. I'm sure a lot of us actually are, and at the moment I've been doing some spinning for Tour de Fleece, and I just wanted to share something quickly with you. This is the 2nd ply of what I've been spinning, and this one I just have, I made strips, I stripped it, I split it, however you say it, into like a pencil roving, so like a really thin bit of roving to spin from, and then I chained it like a crochet chain, and then I left it in that chain when I wrapped it around the distaff. And I'm actually really liking spinning from a chain because it means, well, for one thing, I don't need to like rotate this as much. You know, when the fibre that I'm pulling off starts going around the side, I need to, you know, rotate this so that I am accessing the fibre that I need to. But I do that less because or I feel like I do that less, or I do that less than I would if I hadn't left this in a chain. I think that's what I mean, because there's a chunk of fibre in a chain right there, so that keeps it at this spot longer. One issue that I have been having with this method is that because it is more like wrapped around each other, I have these bits, like hopefully you can see there, where a bit of the yellow fibre has gotten caught up around where it's starting to go blue. So it kind of like catches on itself and almost like felts a little bit and pulls apart a little bit. I'm not minding that too much though, because it's just, you know, making for a more interesting spin. But the thing that I really like about this is if I just sort of try to separate that so that it's not wrapped around another chunk, just gently sort of pull that apart so that it's open and it can pull through. What I have found is, so I spin and I'm pulling from this, and it doesn't really try to undo that chain until I start running out of fiber in this section here. And then I find that for the most part, it kind of just automatically, naturally, as I'm drafting, like pulls it out as I need it. And it's like, it's magic. Like it just knows when I need more fiber. So it's totally, I mean, you know, sometimes I need to manually tweak it a little bit, but usually I can just like draft a bit, and then like when I start running out here, when I don't have quite enough fiber to draft easily, it just boop undoes that chain and just lets me keep going for the most part without having to handle it again. And I'm finding that really fun, so I thought I'd share that with you. Yeah, time to keep going. Now on to the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show. I am really excited and so happy with everything that I purchased from there. I'm pretty sure in the previous episode I was going to try to not spend a lot, but we all know that I was going to not be able to resist buying lots of goodies. The interesting thing though is that I wasn't really looking at yarn pretty much at all. I just actually wasn't that interested in seeing, yarn. So sorry to all of the yarn producers and mills and indie dyers out there, but I think I was just all yarned out from all of my recent sort of spending sprees, and there was only one booth where the yarn caught my eye, and you will see that shortly. So I guess I should just dive in and share with you how the weekend went for me. So here we go. This is a photo. This is the first photo that I took when I got to the show. My partner was with me on the first day. It is the first time ever that I was going for 2 days for one thing, so I stayed overnight, and it's also the first time that my partner came along to the show. It was really cold, it was freezing. Luckily it wasn't really raining, but it was super windy, so you can see I'm wearing my compression gloves here. Yeah, just to try to keep warm, and I am wearing my opposite pole cardigan, which is designed by Helical, and I knit it using Bendigo Woodturners luxury, I want to say 10 ply, and I have done my version in 2 colors because I would not have had enough yarn to do it in just the one color. So that is what I am wearing here on this first day. And this first day I didn't do any shopping at all. I was just sort of going around and taking my partner to see everything and see all of the shape and that kind of thing. So I asked him to take a photo of me with these merino rams, I'm pretty sure they are, and that is just a wider view of it. I feel like I should have been standing next to the one that is on its feet, but you can still kind of get a sense of how big they are, almost as tall as I am. I feel like this photo makes it look like he's taller, but I guess he's on a platform. But it's always really nice to see all the sheep at the show. This is, I have no idea what this is actually, so if anyone knows, please write that in the comments down below, because it is the only one of its kind that I saw, and we just happened to step outside of one pavilion when this fluffy fellow was being trotted down the street. I think I took a live of him. Live? Yeah. He's just so fluffy. Oh, I would have loved to run my fingers through his wool, or her wool, I have no idea, but I just loved seeing that just trotting down the street. And then we watched some of the sheepdog trials. So some of the dogs, the announcer was saying, were I can't remember the word that they used, but basically they're still just in the training and learning phase. So the first one that we saw was muzzled and was needing a fair bit of direction to get them through. Yeah. Let's see what else I have of the trials. This when you go and this section where they get them in the pen in the passage here, I actually kind of felt quite sorry for the sheep, especially the one in the front. It was just getting so cramped in there, and as you can see, there's one here that's just, you know, pretty much climbing on the backs of other sheep, just trying to find their way through. And then there was also the dogs themselves, who in this kind of situation would do this, if it plays. I'm not sure that I'd ever managed to catch any of the sheepdog trials before, and I was completely caught by surprise when I first saw them running over the backs of the poor frightened sheep. And this is just some more for you. what's this? Oh, yeah, I just tried to pet this fellow, but he wasn't having any of me. They all looked very curious and friendly and, you know, seemed to be approaching, you know, the edges of their pens. So I would move forward in the hopes of, you know, being able to touch some lovely wool. And that was when they would all draw away from me. We caught a little bit of judging here. I don't know how good my little live is here, but you can see that the judge is checking the fleeces. He also looked at their faces, I'm guessing looking at the eyes and the teeth, and just also looking at their manner. And for this particular pair, the one that is more visible, that is closer to the screen, is the one that got the first place ribbon. Yes, and now we get into some shopping. So this one I took a photo of because I wanted to remember to come back and buy one of these hoodies the next day. I also couldn't decide which color, and my partner had wandered right down to the other end of the tent, so I took the photo to ask him which one he thought that I should get. And I had actually planned to wear this on this episode, but I have just walked home from work and I'm a bit warm, so I didn't want to put it on, but it is so comfortable and so warm. So the name of the company is Ewe Beauty Apparel. It says Ewe Beauty here on the front, as you can see, that's embroidered on, and then on the back it has that design that you saw. Yeah, and I've always wanted to get a knitting or fibre themed hoodie, so when I saw this I knew that it would be coming home with me. So that is the first thing that I saw that I knew that I would buy, but it wasn't the first thing that I did end up buying. It's seriously so warm. It doesn't have a label anywhere in it that says what it's made of. I assume it's some kind of synthetic, but yeah, it's really, really warm. Next up is, oh yes, so we went to the Woolcraft barn, pavilion, I don't know what you really call it, but yeah, we had a good look through all of the entries that were submitted, and I really want to enter some of my knitting into this, or weaving even sometime, but I just keep forgetting. So I took a photo of some of my favorite things that I saw, so I just thought I would share them with you. My partner really loved the burger in this one, which is very good. I think I was most drawn to the little redheads matchbox there, but also just the whole like barbecue idea. That felted steak is quite impressive, as are the kebabs. I mean, it's all impressive, but you know. I thought this volcano was a bit of fun, and I think this was above the volcano, this dragon flying over the fiery landscape, and that bit of weaving behind it is just beautiful. There are these woven? What were these? Hand woven, yeah. Just some really lovely designs here. Some more weaving. This the three-dimensional looking one that is second from the it's left for me. I don't actually know what it is for you, but the one that's sort of like really 3D looking, I've seen that type of weaving before, and I just find it so magical and impressive. And the one in the center just also looks very intricate and detailed and enchanting. This is there were actually 2 wedding dresses that were in the display cases. I only took a photo of this one here, which was the one that won first place. The other one had a red ribbon on it, so it was a second place or a runner-up. Both of them had so much of this intricate beading on it, though. They were both incredibly impressive, and the train on this, it's just stunning. And some more lovely knitting here. Yeah, lots of fun. Can't remember how this one was done. Bit of everything, possibly. Some felting, probably some weaving in there. Very impressive. I couldn't get a better angle on it because there were some other ladies standing directly in front of it having a good look, and I just took a quick snap and moved on. I thought these bears were adorable, this little family. Just some gorgeous, beautiful, detailed, intricate shawls. This one, I think I took a photo of this. Well, for one thing, the one that's the squares, that's kind of sort of in the middle but feels a bit hidden, I thought that was quite impressive. But it was also, I was also a little bit disappointed to see that the one that's the blue stripes, I'm pretty sure that was illusion knitting, but because of the way that it's displayed, you couldn't see what image it was trying to make. So that was a bit disappointing to see it displayed that way, but I guess illusion knitting would be such a difficult one to display, and you can see it is a massive, huge blanket with all of the fabric that's just folded up on the bottom there. And then there was some lovely spinning. Yeah, something for me to aspire to with my future spins, and maybe one day I will submit a skein as well. We shall see. Oh, these were at the Bendigo Woodturners, and I have some things to share with you that I purchased from there. But first of all, these chains I thought were just so incredibly impressive for that to be carved out of wood. My mind was blown. It just like, how? But it's not just the chains. Like, if you can see the top of some of those spirally bits, like they're hollow inside as well, and it's just absolutely incredible that people can do this. Oh, yes, so we must be on to the next day now. So let's just go back to this photo here with the, you know what? I think I might have taken some photos when I did my shopping the next day, so I won't show you my purchases from the Woodturners just yet. Back to this photo with the goats. We had breakfast the next day at a cafe called the Anxious Goat, and they had goaty things all over the cafe decorating it, but I just thought this was quite adorable to see the little goats on top of the cups there. This is, oh yes, just so this was at a booth. I'm afraid I can't recall the name of the booth, but they were selling a lot of needle felting equipment, and this this work is beautiful. Oh, looks like I took a video of this one, so let's have a look at that. That sheep's head. Needle felting is something that I have never dabbled in, and I don't know if I ever will, but I did buy a bookbinder's awl at a stationery store the night before in Bendigo, and seeing all of that gorgeous work did make me wonder if I could actually use this awl to do needle felting, or if it would be too thick, but possibly I will try that sometime in the future. I have other awls from when I bound books more, but I've never found one before that has the nice wooden handle. My other awl is just, that's the handle on it, and honestly it's not very comfortable to use. So when I saw that at a bookbinding store, I had to pick it up, and I just need to get back into making books. These were just some beautiful giant cones of yarn from Spinning Yarns Weaving Tales. I would have loved to get one, but I couldn't justify, I just couldn't justify spending this much and getting this quantity of yarn when I didn't have a project in mind yet, but I thought they were gorgeous and possibly a future purchase when I'm ready. This is the booth where I did buy the only yarn that I purchased this day, and the reason that I purchased it is because they had one on display, like the skein was opened up and sitting on a table, and you can kind of see it from that purpley skein in the middle that has like the other colors on top. I'd never seen skeins done that way, where most of it is like one color and only one section has the color variations. Usually you know, they're all throughout the skein, so I was very intrigued by how these were dyed up, and they had some examples too of how they look knitted up into socks and things. So I will go through and show you all of the videos and photos of this booth, and then I will show you the few things that I bought from them.
One's going to knit up exactly into a very hungry cat. Oh, never mind. I take it back.
Yes, so this is the skein that they had on the table that really intrigued me in just how it was dyed. I thought it was so unique, and you can see, sorry, did I mention the name of the company is Sian's Yarns. These are some of the samples that they have, and you can see there's a QR, the code there, if you want the patterns for the caterpillar socks, for example. And I think that black sock and that purpley one give an idea of how some of their skeins knit up. This is another pattern that they had a QR code for, but I guess I didn't take a photo that included the QR code, but I thought it was so cute. These bags are ones that I was considering purchasing. I really enjoyed the magpie print that has wordle, oodle, ordle, wordle, woodle, whatever it says on it, because yeah, that's a magpie for you. That's an Aussie magpie. So I enjoyed that print, but I also thought the denim patchwork was quite nice. The one that I did end up buying, I didn't take a photo of, so I will just show you all of the purchases that I made. So this is still from Sian's Yarns, so let me show you what I bought. This is the bag that I ended up choosing. I think this fan design in the front is really fun, but then I also really enjoyed that the back of it was a completely different design. So there's that, but I do also think it's a really clever pattern. So yeah, so it's yeah, the longer strap you can put through that little loop at the front so that you can just swing it onto your arm while walking, and you can knit while you are walking, or you know, hang it onto something if you're not walking, which is really most of the time for me. And then it just has a little extra button closure there to help keep everything contained in the bag. And as you can see, I have already put a project in it, but I haven't actually gone walking with it yet. But I think that was just such a clever design and a really good size for a little one skein project. So that is that. None of the bags were the same, and they were all lovely. It was very hard to choose. The yarn that I bought is Actually, I'll just put that to that side. So I bought 3 skeins from Sian's yarns. So one of them is, which one am I showing you first? Yeah. So there's that one there that has the more confined pop of color. And then I got this one, which was beside it, which has a bit more of a rainbow going on. And then this was beside them as well, and is a bit more of a speckled look. But because they are all pretty much the same green, I thought it would be fun to try to use the 3 of them together in one project and see how differently they all work up. So yeah, really excited about all of these, about using these together, and the colors are just beautiful. And yeah, Sian's yarns, go check them out. I am very, very happy with this purchase, and it is my only yarn purchase, so I'm very I'm very pleased with myself for sticking to that restriction. This was a wheel that was just sitting out in a little open area in the Woolcraft shed. It is a wind wheel, and I've seen wind wheels before, and I've seen them listed on Marketplace, and one day I do hope to own one, but this is easily by far the most beautiful one I have ever seen. I meant to go back and see it be demonstrated later on, but I completely forgot, which is a shame. I have seen them in action before, and they are really unique and something special, so I do hope to add it to my collection one day. And here we have some macrame and a beautiful bit of weaving that is just stunning, really. How gorgeous is that? I absolutely love it. The woman who made that was actually sitting below it spinning, but she was in conversation with someone else, and I wasn't going to interrupt to ask if she minded me filming her, so I just made sure I went over her head. This was a very, very impressive little booth that makes these amazing whimsical yarn balls. So you can kind of just see at the bottom of the frog's lip there, but I didn't get a proper photo of it, but it has that spiral sort of cut out so that you can feed yarn through it, and your yarn is just sitting in the mouth of the frog, which just completely tickled me, and I wouldn't, don't be surprised if one day I come home with one of these. This is another example that they had for a yarn bowl, the little castle, and with the tower, the top of the tower actually comes off so you can store things inside it, which I thought was a really cute, fun idea. My favorite yarn bowl that they had though was this tree stump. I love that the little mushrooms growing out the side of the stump could actually be used to hold stitch markers and little notions and things like that. So if I were to purchase a yarn bowl from these guys, I probably would get one of these tree stump ones. The slightly taller stump in the back that has the sort of mint green colouring is probably more my taste, but they are both just amazing, really. And this is the company that makes them, iCast Mending. This was the Dying to Weave booth, and that is Prue, who runs this company, sitting at the loom there. This is a sari style loom, and I have been interested in these in a really, really, really long time. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get one in the future, but I'm still sort of deciding between this loom and a shacked baby wolf or wolf pup. I Prue was so generous with her information and so enthusiastic in talking about this loom and everything that you could do with it. She actually let me have a quick go. I've never used a floor loom before, so she talked me through it. I sat down and she was like, okay, now, you know, press this foot down and then move the shuttle and then press your other foot down and then pull the beater and then press your foot down. And I'm probably getting that all in the wrong order, but she was so lovely and helpful and just demonstrated, you know, a few of the different things that you can do with it. I am fascinated by this loom just because of how easy they try to make things for weavers, but they also just work beautifully and look beautifully. They fold up really small. I love that they come with a little bobbin winder there so that you can wind up your bobbins for weaving. Did I say the loom folds up? It folds up and you can attach wheels to the bottom of it, so it's really easy to transport. You can buy warps so that you don't need to be the one who warps it up all of the time. You can just attach a pre-made warp to it, which is, you know, like the black, she's got a black warp on there and you can see the pre-made warp just at the bottom back of the loom. And you can also do a thing where you can like remove the weaving that's there and put in like a second set of weaving, and the previous project that you had taken off is still completely intact, so you can easily swap between working two different projects. And there's just so much about it that I think is so clever. It is a rigid heddle loom, and the sari, what do you call it? They're sort of what's the word I'm looking for? There's like a, is it like an ethos? Their ethos? They're the idea behind sort of the sari process and their looms and just what they do is just like pure creativity, and it's, you know, just do whatever you want and just be completely like free and expressive. They actually have like a manifesto that's got like 3 points on or something like that, just about, you know, expressing yourself and what they believe in, but I can never remember exactly what they are. But yes, I'm very, very interested in this loom, and I was very excited to sit down and have a go at it, and it's very, very comfortable. So there it is close up. Yeah, there it is. So easy and fluid and just fun to use. Ah, yes, and here we come to the 11T1 Windmills booth. I have no idea if you watch Lisa, but hello! So Lisa is the woman behind 11T1 Windmills, and if you have watched my vlog before, you will know that I am a big fan of hers. My only ever advent that I have purchased was from her, and then I have purchased another one this year. I have bought other tools, and she just makes amazing things. She's so creative. She has like, I don't know where she gets all of her ideas, and then also all of like the time that she puts into like making everything. And then she, like, you know, some of these she even has, you know, she has to paint once they have been, you know, cut and etched and all of that kind of thing. She even designed and made, you know, all of these stands. And I'm just so impressed. Speechless. I'm speechless. I'm always just so amazed and impressed by everything that she does. And she has a really good online presence on Instagram as well. Which also just impresses me, because if you've ever tried to follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm just so inconsistent with my posting, but she is always just so on top of it, which is very impressive. and I spent a lot of money at her stall, and one of the things that I bought is one of these sock blockers. I think that is actually my last photo. Yep, that's my last photo from the show. So let me just show you everything that I bought. So I bought one set of the sock blockers from Lisa. I got the green ones in the small size. I would have preferred to get the large ones because I knit more socks for my partner than I do for myself. But she'd already sold out of all of the colors of the large ones. So yeah, I did see her booth on day one that I went there, which was the Friday. And I sort of like had an inkling that if I didn't buy something from her that first day that it would be sold out when I wanted to get it, and I was right, but that's okay because I still managed to get one pair for myself. And I do have sock blockers in other sizes. I just thought hers were so pretty. But one of the things that I really liked about hers is those little hanger things that you saw in the photo. Here they are. So when I have blocked my socks before, I don't usually like to just sit them down flat because then the bottom of it isn't going to dry properly, and I always just sort of like, you know, try to lean it up awkwardly against something. But now that I have this, I can just hang it up on the clothesline or wherever I need to. So I think that's just lovely and beautiful and brilliant. They also came in these bags, which she said that her husband made, who was there with her, and I just think it's such a good bag. It's like really good material and, you know, well made, and that's like a really good size as well. She was like, you can use it as a project bag, and you know, I definitely could and probably will. And like that just came with it, and I thought that was just so generous and so thoughtful. I was just expecting to get the blockers, and I got this great bag with it too, so thank you, Lisa. I bought some more things from her. My favorite would have to be this project bag, which I was not intending to get a bag, but I saw this just hanging up beside her when I went to pay, and I just was like, oh, I like that. And she said it was the last one, so I took it. And I love the print, I love the color. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? And the other thing that I really, really like about this bag is I like how it is inside, but I've just realized that it's full of all my other shopping. But basically, I can still show you. It's just got one pocket there, and I really like that it's not a huge pocket, so you know, if you pop notions and things in there, they're not going to get lost. It's not like a flimsy pocket, so sometimes when I try to put things in a bag with a giant pocket in it, they try to go in the pocket instead of in the bag, and things just get a bit messy. So I love that it's a smaller pocket. I love that it's a bit raised up and not just sitting at the bottom of the bag. Very like sturdy material, and of course matching print to the outside, and I think it's just brilliant, and I can't wait to use it. I bought more from her. I bought this is something that I was intending to get from her. It is the Big Bang Theory set of stitch markers. So that's that one, and I did also get this yarn cutter, which is just another genius, wonderful little thing. And it's a brooch, and this is something that I had seen on her Instagram quite a while ago now. I think she came up with them within the last year. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, as soon as I saw it way back then, I knew that I wanted it, so I was very glad that she had them at the show. That's all that I brought from her. Let's get through all of my other purchases so I don't keep you too long. the very first thing that I actually bought at the show was this coaster, and I was waiting to show it to you before I started using it. Where did I get you from? So I got this coaster from White Rabbit Handmade, and now I can use it, so I'm very happy about that. The next shop that I went to, or the next one that I purchased from, was Teatime Yarn Retreats, and I purchased from them a few stickers, knitting themed stickers. Pretty sure I have yarn in this color. When I make myself that crochet cactus hand thing that I made for my cousins a couple of Christmases ago, I'm going to be attaching that to my crafting journal page for it. Just unwind. So I have those stickers, and then I also bought this here, and oh, that's not all of it. This was the very last timber one that they had, so I felt very lucky to pop in when I did to buy it. So you pop that through like that, you sit your yarn on it, and then whoops, clip it, and again it's just another handy little device for being able to walk and knit. So it's holding your yarn, and because this rotates freely, your yarn isn't going to get tangled around it. Again, I haven't used it yet, but one day. Just a good tool to have in your arsenal. And then, so the next thing I have in my little bag of goodies here, the last thing I have is this hook from the Bendigo Woodturners. I chose this one because it was my favorite handle. It's I think they call it a burl, where it's kind of like almost like knotty, like there's lots of little like round bits instead of just having like, you know, grain going in one direction. So I thought that was a gorgeous handle. The actual like wire hook bit isn't great, and you can see that it's a bit messy how it's like glued into the handle there, but I don't really mind. It's labeled as a loom hook, but I don't know if I will be using it as a loom hook. I know that I'll definitely be using it as an orifice hook when I'm spinning, or at least, you know, when I'm doing a ply back test when I'm spinning, I'll be using it for that, because I've always wanted to get one with a wooden handle. The other thing that I bought from Bendigo Woodturners is a little crochet set, and I'm not really big into crochet, and I just bought some hooks recently from both from an online store here and from a store in Japan, but when I saw this set I just couldn't resist. Again, how beautiful is the wood that they have used for that handle. I love that it has a little clip there, like a pen clip, and then it has all of these hooks here, different size hooks, and you just screw them in. So clever, and because of that handle it's so comfortable to hold. So now I think I'll primarily like be crocheting with these when I do crochet, and not with those other ones that I just bought, because this is just so beautiful and so much fun to use. Does it say what wood this one is? I think it's she oak. Yeah, flame she oak. Gorgeous, just gorgeous. And I love that it just came in, you know, a nice little box as well to keep it all safe and protected. What else did I buy? All right. From someone unknown. Can I figure out who it is? The Shepherd. in my banking app it just says the Shepherd, and then it cuts off the Shepherd North Bendigo. But they had a whole stack of old spin-off magazines that they were selling, and I bought 10. I bought 10 of them. And I've already had a quick flip through this. I've read a few of the articles, and I think this one was my favorite, possibly, maybe. This one, I think it was this one is my favorite one, as in it has the most useful information that I think I will come back to and use. But I sort of just went through and earmarked some of the articles and tips that I thought I would probably be coming back to. This one was also a particularly helpful one. Yeah, so I have a lot of spinning. I have a lot of spinning magazines. Yes. Very happy to have all of that, and I was very glad that I brought a backpack because it was quite heavy to carry, and I did find that and pick that up quite early on. Is that everything that I bought? I think that's everything. I actually thought that I bought more, but I didn't. Which is good, which is a good thing because I spent enough. I think I spent I did also buy some like peanut brittle, and I got my partner some licorice, but I think I spent about $500, which is more than I guess I had hoped to spend. I think I probably, going into it, I would have estimated like $300. But I'm so happy with everything that I bought, and yeah, I was smiling all day, and it was just lots of fun. It was fun to go there with my partner. It's just like a really great energy and experience. So yeah, I don't know if I will do 2 days again next year, but I did find it a lot more relaxing to do it that way. So yeah, we'll see. I hope you enjoyed seeing everything that I bought. And if you are interested, I hope that you go and check out some of these fabulous shops and makers and what have you. And yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to share. Do I have a heart full of craft? I mean, really, it's just all of these, you know, wonderful, clever, brilliant, creative makers and companies out there who, you know, make all this wonderful stuff and take my money. Yeah, that's really all I have to share. I will see you in hopefully sooner than a month, but yeah, in the meantime, I hope that you find some time to do some crafting, you find some time to spend loved ones, and you find some time to take care of yourselves. I will see you in a few weeks. Fare thee well.